Hi guys, thank you so much for agreeing to lead a workshop for your peers on December 15th. We really appreciate you taking a leadership role in our group just to help everyone hear practical ways of supporting teachers. So I wanted to make this little video for you to kind of help you understand the overall structure of the day and how you fit into that and some of the things that you should think about as you start planning with your peers on this project. So our overall learning outcome for the day is here number one. Participants will acquire tools to assist with coaching teachers to differentiate instruction by using two high leverage structures, teacher-led small groups and differentiated stations and activities. And all of this really is coming from the idea that we want teachers to understand that in RTI Tier 1, the teacher has a lot of work to do to differentiate to meet the needs of all students. So lots of differentiation takes place in Tier 1. We want to make sure that teachers have the tools to do that. So our agenda for the day, it just looks like we're going to have a 20-minute check-in where we'll go over our learning outcomes and everybody can log into Canvas to make sure they know where all of our materials are for the day. And then Paula Long from Educational Support Services will do a session on the RTI handbook again and Polaris. And then we'll have a 90-minute session with curriculum and instruction. This is the only part of the day that does not align really well to that differentiation. However, writing is one of the things that almost all of the coaches reported that they're supporting on their campuses, and we know it's a major district focus. So writing across the curriculum should be a really good session for us. When we come back from the lunch break, we'll have a 10-minute session where we just kind of get the coaches in the mind frame of going out to the stations to acquire knowledge so that they can apply it afterwards. And the way that they're going to apply the knowledge afterwards is that participants can work alone or in small groups to create a presentation that they can use on their campus with teachers, teams, or their whole staff or their leadership team to explain why differentiation is a vital part of RTI Tier 1, what differentiation in Tier 1 might look like, and specific tools to plan, facilitate, and manage small groups and stations. And that third bullet is really where you guys come in handy for the stations or for the breakout groups, because you're really going to show them tangible, practical ways to help teachers with that. So then here from 1:15 all the way to 3 o'clock, they'll be at their stations. They have three stations they can choose out of 7, and they'll be rotating through those. And then we'll come back for that apply where they create the presentation, and then we end with a 15-minute closure activity. So just wanted to show you here what our schedule looks like. Let me make this a little bit smaller so you can see everything. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stations. You can see the facilitators here and you can see the room numbers here. So unlike before where we kind of just did it in corners, you have your own room this time to present in. And you can see here what times you'll be actually facilitating. And we were sure to make sure that all of the coaches and SEEs who present are off at least one section so that they can go out and do learning also. So this just gives you a big picture of what will be happening during those couple of hours. So what do we need to think about for as you start to plan? So in my initial email with you, I kind of put down a couple of bullets of things that I saw on your Google form that would really fit into this idea of your station. So these are just some of the initial ideas that came through. For example, with Laura and Jennifer and Angela, they're doing differentiated stations and activities. Some of the things that they said they could bring to the table are aligning and differentiating I can statements at the stations, using choice boards, using data from Polaris and iStation to create differentiated activities, and then management tools like a do-done folder and strategies from Teach Like a Champion. So what Laura and Jennifer and Angela will need to do is come together collectively, either on the phone, on Google Hangout, or in person, kind of just talk through all the ideas that they have, and then come to a consensus about what's the most important thing to share in these 30 minutes with these teachers, and how are we going to deliver that. So you guys have a lot of autonomy in the way that you deliver it. It could be like a very focused mini lesson with some kind of application activity. It could be something where you're guiding people through thinking. It could be very hands-on. It's however you want it to be that will meet the needs of your coaches and that are going to really get them to where they can walk away with some tangible ideas of how to support their teachers in whatever your session was about. So I also show this to show you can see what other people are going to be talking about so that there's not a whole lot of overlap. So Amy Myers and Tanisha, we're going to work on how to coach a teacher towards small group instruction. So they're really going to be thinking about strategically how do you use small steps to get a teacher to implement small group instruction. Susan and Shannon are going to be talking about curriculum tools like vertical alignment to differentiate in Tier 1, and then perhaps also aligning math stations and games to learning targets. I already talked about Laura's group, and then Tracy and Shalina are going to be talking specifically about secondary classrooms, how to use small groups and stations in secondary classrooms. And then we do have a Polaris pull out with Natalie from that department. We have an elevation pull out from Cindy Brennan in world languages, and we have a Canvas session from Steve. So really what you're tasked with now is to get together with your group and kind of just talk through what do we really want to come out of this session and how can we make that happen. And then you might think about ways to continue collaboratively planning, like using Google Slides or something like that, so you guys can both be working on it at the same time, even if you're not in the same location. One other thing I'll say is that 30 minutes is very short, so it does have to be very focused and targeted. However, if there are other materials that you guys think are important for the coaches to have access to, do send it to me so I can put it in Canvas. Because in Canvas, you'll see that this is our December 2017 meeting. We have this whole little section right here that's called resources from workshops. And whatever you guys send me for your workshop, I'll put in there so that people can go back and A, look at later, B, look at if they were absent, and then C, to extend their understanding if there were additional resources that you guys did not get to. So once again, thank you so much for your help. Please reach out if you have any questions. If you want me to join your planning, just invite me and I'll be happy to be there. Otherwise, I know that you guys are going to do a super job. This is what you guys do for a living, so there's no hesitation there at all. But I am here to support you however you want. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.